Hello, my lovelies. Welcome back to Travel Talk with Fumi. Today, I'm going to do a quick one on how to get prepared for your interview at the US Embassy. So, you've gone ahead to fill out your visa application form, you've paid the fees, you secured an appointment date, and the D Day is here. You're going to the embassy. Now, number one, I'll talk about your dressing. Please, by all means, don't show up wearing agbada for your interview. Don't do anko. I don't know if you're not Yoruba, you might not know what anko is, but it's when you guys wear the same fabric. I'm wearing Ankara prints now, and then I have my husband wearing Ankara prints as well, and then we have our children wearing the same prints. It looks ridiculous. It looks desperate. You're not going to get that visa approved, even by your appearance. It's like taking points off what you're supposed to get. So yes, so please, your dressing, do not dress, even if you dress a native. Yes, you can dress a native. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. But then don't do anko. Number two is still on your dressing. Don't wear anything provocative or revealing. Try to be as decent as you can. If you're a guy, you know, a lot of guys wear neck chain now. Make sure that you don't have, your button not all the way up, your chest showing. Try to cover as much as you can. And then ladies too, let's take it easy with the cleavage. Cover as much as you can. That being said, number two, I will talk about your posture and your attitude. Your posture and attitude as well can go a long way to affect the decision of your application. So the first thing I would say is fear. We need to eliminate fear. One thing I've realized is going in with a lot of fear and anxiety will not even let you hear the questions properly. They ask you this question. I remember it happened to someone that I know. So this person had been to the US consulate before, and then the visa was denied, and the person went the second time, and then he realized that it was standing right in front of the officer that refused him the last time. It was not right in front of him. It was like, okay, if he had stayed, he would have just gone right in front of that person. So instead of that, he panicked, and then he ran into the restroom, hoping that by the time he gets back, someone else would have taken his spot, and then he will get a chance with another officer. But I think the visa issuing officer noticed this, because the minute he got out of the bathroom, the security guy just said, wait here, and it sent him right back to that cubicle of the lady that refused him the last time. You know that this person is disorganized already. So, and from there, everything just went south. Another point I would say is, when you are going for your interview, for the US consulate, everybody is there. Most people can even hear the questions they are asking the next person. And so don't decide that, oh, this person has been issuing the visa a lot, I'm going to go to this cubicle. Or this person has not been issuing the visa, I'm not going to go to this cubicle. Because I remember then when I started getting my UK visa, we still used to go for interviews then. And this particular booth that I went to, the guy was refusing everybody. He sounded so stern and firm. And, the way he was calling, but two, like it was backing it out. And I'm like, okay, this is something. What's going on here? I'm like, should I run? Should I go somewhere else? And I'm like, you know what? Whatever. If he's going to give it, he's going to give it. If I'm going to get it today, I'm going to get it today. I'm going to this guy. And then, I got there, and it was a totally different experience. Everybody that had been going to that booth were being refused, but I got my visa issued that day. So don't decide, because if you are bent on, oh, I think this person is lenient, this person is giving, I'd rather go to this person. Then when you don't get to go to that person, it leaves you disorganized. It leaves you thrown off. And your thoughts are like everywhere. The fear is there, the anxiety is there, because wow, I was going to go to booth 3. I've been sent to booth 4. What's going on here? Booth 4 is not giving. And then that one, your morale is already down. Don't. You just mind your own business. Is issuing visa, is not issuing visa. They don't have any set of people that today you are not going to give anybody. Today you are giving. It's not that way. It's what you say. So to each his own. The first time I got my US visa, I know a lot of people were telling me then that, you've never been to the US before. They don't give people that have never gone before. And I'm like, isn't it one time that you get it? They said, no, they must reject you first. blah blah blah. Okay, so I went in, and with the mind that, okay, I might not get this, but then I wasn't scared, and then I didn't have like a slouchy posture or an attitude or one air around me. No, I didn't have that. I just went in confidently, and then the first thing I did was, the lady that was interviewing me, had a great, I can't forget that, she had a great dress on, and then she had this really nice brooch. So I was like, oh wow, I love your brooch. And then, it caught her off balance. And then she was like, oh my God. Oh wow, thank you. Oh, I love you. And then she complimented me as well. And then from there, it wasn't like I was going for an interview anymore. It was like I was chatting with a friend. So I'm not saying be too confident when you get there, but at least be relaxed. Just look at it like you're talking to your friend. I always say it. When you're talking to the visa issuing officer, talk like you're having a conversation with your friend. With your friend, you won't be so tense, you relax, you probably tell a story, you tell a joke here and there, and then you won't answer your question in monosyllables that they're asking you. Why US? Because I want to go on vacation. No, it shouldn't be. Another point is, don't talk too much. So over the years, my experience from consulting for people and talking to people, I realized that a lot of people have been rejected for divulging too much information. Don't talk too much. Okay, so now I already said do not answer in monosyllables, but that doesn't mean that you should now talk too much or get carried away. Don't answer questions to what was not asked of you. Rather, answer the question they've asked you and try to be impressive. For example, now, I know someone that, the person had a visa appointment, and because the person just got back from the UK the night before, the confidence was there, a little too much for the person's good. And the question asked was, so why the US? What are you going to do in the US? And then this person went like, oh, I just got back from the UK last night, and so I just said I should go to the US. Ah, that's too much talk. They haven't asked you where you just got back from. When they ask you why the US and you have a travel history, why not try to build a story that, yes, I just thought it was about time. Okay, so my own story, when they asked me why the US, my response was like, I've been dying to go to the US. I just want to see, the Empire State Building, because I've watched the movie. And for me, I like to visit where I've seen in movies or read in novels. So it comes to life with me. I would like to see the Statue of Liberty. I just want to explore New York as it is. So for that, I'm trying to tell a story. So from my application, she can see that I already have like a travel history. So it doesn't seem weird when I get excited and say, oh, I would like to see the Empire State Building, because I have seen a movie and I want to relive it. So, like I said, don't talk too much. Rather, stick to the question that was asked you. But when you are responding to it, try to be impressive. Another one that I've seen, don't show documents until you have been asked for that document. So, like 99% of the time, the US consulate does not ask you for bank statements. But you see people, they will ask you, passport, please. And then instead of you to just straight the passport, you're now bringing out an appointment letter, you're bringing out some. Mm-mm. It even shows that you're nervous. Just go straight to the point. Passport, please. When they don't ask you for your bank statement, they'll say, I even have my bank statement here. Mm-mm-mm. Nobody's asking you for that. Just answer the question, bring what they've asked you for, and that's it. Another one I've seen, when people show documents when they're not supposed to. For instance, now they ask you, so who is inviting you, or who are you going to see in the US? Instead of opening your mouth and say, oh, my mom, my dad, my uncle, my aunt, my friend, they will just bring out document and say, this is my invitation letter. No, now nobody's asking you for that. If they have not asked you for any documentation, do not. Because for this interview, you only have like 1 to 3 minutes, 3 minutes max, and the decision is made. And I always say, people, the filling of the application goes a long way. Like it's like 70% of your interview done. The remaining 30% is just what you have to prove in that 3 minutes. So make it impressive. Another thing I've seen a lot of people go down for is the lack of clear communication. Most of the time, the person interviewing you does not even understand half of what you're saying. You're not communicating clearly. So the first thing I would say is speak clearly. Make sure that everything that you're saying is audible. They can hear you. Speak clearly. Number two, I would say speak out loud, but do not shout. Make sure you're loud enough to be heard, but do not shout. Number 3, speak simple English. Yes, we know that you all did English in school. We know that you got A1. Okay. The visa issuing officer doesn't need to know that. They just need your answers. So make sure you communicate in simple English that you will both understand. There's no ambiguity about it at all. Number 4, because of the way our accent is, I would say speak slowly but clearly so they can hear everything that you're saying. The way I'm speaking now, I'm speaking slowly but clearly. Don't rush it because they might not get your accent. And they would, if they ask you again, and someone else will not be nice to even ask you the second time, and then the decision will be made because you've seen how full the embassy can be. So you can just imagine how many people they are going to attend to in a day. So they're not going to spend more than 3 minutes maximum with you. So you need to be able to communicate clearly, short and precise. Most of the time, there's nothing wrong with your story. There's nothing wrong with your purpose of travel. There's nothing wrong with the person inviting you or your means of funds or proving family ties. It's just that they did not hear you. And instead of them waiting and asking you again, and you'll be spending 4 minutes or 5 minutes, they'll just make a decision. Lastly, on the day of your interview, if you did not hear the question that was asked, please don't be afraid to tell the person to repeat. You say it nicely. Can you say that again, please? And that's it. Because most people are afraid to ask the interviewing officer to repeat the question. And then, they'll go and answer another question that was not asked, or they will just say something else that doesn't add up. So don't just assume and answer a question wrongly. Make sure you ask the visa interviewing officer rather politely to please repeat the question. And from there, it gets easier. Just try and relax as much as you can. That will be all from me today. I hope somebody has been able to learn. If you are preparing for that interview, please make sure you watch this video. If you know anybody that is preparing to appear at the US consulate for their interview, please make sure you share this video with them so they can learn a thing or two before their interview date. And that will be all from me today. Till next week when I drop a new video. Take care and bye-bye.